Well, the 13-member Harvard Corporation met today to discuss the fate of University President Claudine Gay. Calls for her resignation have climbed since her testimony before Congress last week, when she said there needed to be context decided before the university could say that calling for the genocide of Jews violated Harvard's code of conduct for bullying and harassment. Coming to her defense, more than 660 professors and university faculty signed a letter urging President Gay to remain in her position at the Ivy League school and not to bow to political pressure. It comes as over the weekend, University of Pennsylvania President Liz Magill, she resigned. She also testified before Congress last week and would not condemn calls for genocide. Her resignation came after donors withdrew a $100 million grant to the school protesting her testimony. Detroit police have taken a second person of interest into custody linked to the murder of Samantha Wall, the president of the Isaac Agreed downtown synagogue, who was found stabbed to death outside of her home on October 21st. A person of interest was arrested on November 8th, but no charges were filed and they were released just a few days later. Police have said they do not believe this murder has any connection to the ongoing conflict in the Middle East and are not pursuing the murder as a hate crime at this time. 15 people are being disciplined in connection with the large-scale classified documents leak by an airman earlier this year. Massachusetts Air National Guard member Jack Teixeira, still behind bars, accused of posting highly classified documents online. Today, the Air Force IG said several officials failed to appropriately respond to Teixeira's suspicious behavior. Well, we are just a month away now from the Iowa caucuses to kick off the 2024 election season, and former President Donald Trump, he maintains a significant lead in the polls. Now, the new numbers out today by the Des Moines Register, partnered with NBC News, show Trump with a commanding 51% to 19% over second place Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. That is up from 43 to 16 from the same poll taken in October. More positive polling news for the two-time GOP nominee. CNN SSRS polls out today show Trump is leading President Joe Biden in both Georgia and Michigan, two close states he lost in 2020 but did win in 2016. Trump leads by 10 points in Michigan while holding an apparent 8-point lead in the Peach State. Well, people on weight loss drugs are likely to regain the weight once they get off of those drugs. A new study in JAMA funded by Eli Lilly followed people taking tirzepatide, which is a Mounjaro and Zepbound. It found that those who continued the drug kept losing weight, but those who switched to a placebo, they gained weight. Research on long-term use of these medications is limited. Well, we have reporters all across the country in your neighborhoods covering the issues that matter most to you. We're taking the pulse of America. And with just a few weeks left in 2023, the city of Seattle has seen its deadliest year ever. The Seattle Police Department confirming that the city has reached 71 homicides as of this morning, beating the record of 69 that was set back in 1994. People who have lived in Seattle for several years say things have only gotten worse.
It's changed a lot. Changed a lot. It doesn't matter where you're at, because crime is all over the place now. West Seattle, Darien, Kent, where you want to name it at, Bellevue, it's all over.
As a Christian, I just feel really sad that it has happened for any church.
Barbara Tyson runs Aunt Bee's Blessing Shop in Maggie Valley.
I don't belong to that church, but it's a sad situation.
According to an arrest warrant, 34-year-old Cole Altizer embezzled $440 from the Maggie Valley United Methodist Church and used it for his own use, and done without the church's consent.
Can you say anything about how all that happened?
Not too much. I can say that the money was counted and it was determined that amount was missing.
Ken Brown is the board chair for the local church.
It's an upsetting circumstance.
The matter is now under Maggie Valley Police investigation.
As well as anyone, but there's always room for improvement. And whether you have an all-wheel drive vehicle or not, tires make a difference.
There's nothing better than a snow tire in snow. That's simple as that. That's why they're made, is to push you through the snow. Right. All seasons are acceptable, but in heavy snow, you're not going anywhere.
Snow tires, despite their similar look to a regular tire, couldn't be more different physically. The biggest difference is the squishiness.
All right, coming up, an in-depth look at the tools criminals are using to make handguns much more dangerous. We are back right after this. Well, criminals are turning handguns into machine guns, and all it takes is $20 or a 3D printer. Spotlight on America's national investigative correspondent Lisa Fletcher discovered these devices are creating terrifying terrain for police and communities across America.
Gunfire raining down on a school and one of D.C.'s busiest streets. The shooter making this gunfire potentially even more lethal with a tiny piece of metal or plastic you can buy online in seconds that turns a handgun into a machine gun.
You know, the concern is that they're everywhere out there on the streets.
It's called a handgun conversion device, illegal and commonly known as a Glock switch, but it can be installed on many types of guns with devastating consequences. ATF Acting Special Agent in Charge Mike Waddell told us it is a terrifying trend.
We're starting to see a huge increase. Criminal elements are using them against other criminal elements, but also our law enforcement partners.
Body camera footage shows two officers in Texas serving a warrant.
It's Houston Police. Let's do this thing.
In a split second, the suspect hits them with a hail of gunfire from a handgun outfitted with a conversion device. One officer is killed, the other seriously wounded.
Bill!
In 2020, ATF seized more than 4,000 weapons with conversion devices. In just 1 year, that number increased by more than a third to nearly 6,000. These modified weapons have killed and injured dozens of people at a time in mere seconds in cities across the country. Sacramento, Fresno, Milwaukee, Detroit, and Houston, just some of the latest. In 2022, in the District of Columbia, a lone shooter who, according to ATF, had at least one weapon outfitted with a conversion device, plunged schools and a neighborhood into a terrifying lockdown for hours as he sprayed bullets from a fifth-floor apartment. 4 people were injured.
It increases that capability of that suspect, by, just the possession and the use of this, handgun conversion device.
In fact, it allows the shooter to fire up to 600 rounds from a handgun in 1 minute. We arranged a demonstration with DC's ATF experts. In less than 2 seconds, I fired 15 rounds from a 9mm handgun.
How easy is it to swap out for one of these switches?
It's a fairly easy process. So a matter of less than a minute, you can have one switched out and ready to utilize the firearm.
Firearms Enforcement Officer Nicholas Campbell explained how it works.
It's pushing down on your actual trigger bar, keeping it from resetting, and that's what's causing it to fire automatically.
We were able to find these illegal gun modifiers openly for sale for anywhere from $20 to $200 on multiple social media platforms, including Facebook, TikTok, and Telegram, all of which forbid weapons transactions. Waddell says it's no mystery who's making these purchases.
Typically what we find is that someone that's not going through the process to necessarily register a Glock switch or to make it legal, that they're using it for criminal or nefarious purposes.
For Spotlight on America, I'm Lisa Fletcher.
Lisa, thank you. And coming up, the topics that people were Googling the most in 2023, according to the search engine. We are back in just 90 seconds. This just in, Google has revealed its list of the top internet searches from 2023. The Israel-Hamas war, that was the most searched news story of this year. The top trending person was Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin. You may remember Hamlin experienced near-death cardiac arrest during a football game in January. Also, actor Jeremy Renner, he came in second. Renner had a serious snowplow accident earlier this year. And speaking of this year, it is that time of year for the Golden Globe nominations. They are out and likely to come as no surprise. Topping the list are Barbie and Oppenheimer, with the most in the film category. As for TV, the HBO hit show Succession leads in that category. The awards scheduled for January 7th at 8 p.m. Very much looking forward to that. Thank you so much for joining us. You can watch us again this evening. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for watching.